Instagram functions exactly like porn. And you might be wondering, well, how do they correlate with each other? How does that make any sense? Well, that's what I'm going to be explaining in today's episode. I'm going to be starting the explanation talking about what I went through yesterday. Like yesterday, I opened Instagram. I try to keep Instagram like not downloaded. I try to keep it off of my phone. I try not to use it. I try to be off of all social medias. I only use TikTok and YouTube for uploading these podcasts. But I had to message someone on Instagram. I had to take care of a thing or two on the app, so I had to download on my phone. And then, unfortunately, I ended up falling into that rabbit hole, into that scrolling. And it was probably one of the craziest, most intense scroll sessions that I really ever had. Like when porn stimulates the feelings of lust, Instagram will stimulate the feelings of anger, maybe some envy, maybe some pride, maybe some fear. And I mean, if you're on the wrong side of the platform, probably versions of lust as well. It's very bad, right? So I use Instagram because that's the one I use, but it applies really to all types of social media where you're scrolling and you're just consuming different types of content. It's about the quality of your thoughts thing. The whole thing that I've been talking about on the show a little bit, the whole quality of your thoughts. Your thoughts are downstream from the content you consume. Obviously, if you're watching porn, that perverts your idea of sex and the relationship between man and woman and how that should be and the love that people should have. If you're just watching it, it truly is just for the pleasure of it, and it destroys your brain. And there's actually like this scientific thing that it takes 30 days of not watching porn for your brain to actually finally wean off of it, for your brain's kind of chemical balance to get back to what it normally was, because you're actually like destroying something deep within your brain when you're watching that kind of crap. I honestly kind of look at Instagram, I look at social media, and I look at the scrolling, and I think it kind of is similar in that regard, where it is changing the complexion of your brain. It's changing the complexion of what you're actually thinking about, instead of it being like a lustful perspective. And it's not as intense. Like it's definitely not as intense as porn for sure, but it really does stimulate a part of your brain that makes you feel a different way. For example, all that I was watching yesterday in on Instagram was just it basically after a few minutes it became purely just conspiracy theories, doomsday, the world's gonna end. Everyone's like the people, the elites, they're trying to become gods, they're trying to be immortal. The world is gonna be like in 2030 it's going to be 15-minute cities, digital IDs. You're not going to know, you're not going to have any thought anymore, you're not going to be a free thinker anymore. And then the whole Andrew Tate situation, he's being arrested, they're shutting people up, they're going to kill him. And then also a lot based on how the World Cup final was potentially rigged against Argentina, because there were many different clips of those things, and that ended up becoming, that was my entire feed. I just wanted to scroll just to have some funny laughs. In the beginning, yes, there were some fun laughs and funny videos, but then it literally became just pure like doomsday. And then when I was done, I was literally over here like my mind was racing. I was spinning. I was like, what the hell did I like, what is happening? Like this world's going to crap. Like it's a messed up world. It's a cuckoo land world we live in. While all of that still remains true, it's the fact that like I'm watching this content and that stuff is sticking with me in my head, right? And that's why I related to porn, because that's kind of what porn is. It ruins the quality of your thoughts and it ruins what you think about relationships just psychologically. Even if you know, oh yes, like a relationship isn't just that, but you're still engaging in it. Your brain can't tell the difference. The chemicals in your brain can't tell the difference. So I really hope that they really start to come out with more concrete scientific evidence for why it's bad for you, because so many people are just chronically addicted to it, and it's really bad. But honestly, like I look at how social media stimulates my senses and how I fell into that kind of just crazy part of Instagram, and I realize, oh, like it actually can be put on that level, like of where your brain is kind of being messed up. So do you need 30 days of being off of Instagram to actually wean off of it, to have your mind be in a more peaceful, better mindset, rather than the anger, the doomsday, the fear of everything that watching these videos kind of perpetuated and kind of stimulated in my mind? I don't think so. I don't think it's the same type of thing. Again, there's differences, right? It's way more intense when you're watching porn, but on Instagram, social media, perhaps it can get that intense. Not stimulating the same feelings as I already said, but a different type of perspective. And like again, like the whole world's gonna end type of perspective, which is like, it's not really fun to live your life just kind of thinking about those things, right? if we ever get to a situation where it goes too far, right? We know the governments are not for us. We know that they're against us. We know that they're just power hungry. They want to just control the masses, right? You read 1984, you read Brave New World, and you ask the question like, oh, is that the end goal for these people? And in 5, 10 years, are we going to see that happening? And if we do see that happening, then maybe you actually have to get serious about oh, you got to fight against it, right? But if you don't see that happening, and if you actually kind of just see that it's just narratives, then why worry about it, right? It's like, why be so focused on these things? But I guess I watched all of this stuff, and it's just like it's just crazy, and I don't like it because it's not making me have good thoughts. It's making me think about, just again, like the end of the world, right? The worst that could possibly happen in the world. So I need to literally just take a deep breath, calm down, and realize that even in all things, the God of the universe, the creator of all of us, is more powerful than all of it. Than all of the evil people that want to be immortal, or all of the people that are pedos and go on the island and do all sorts of crazy stuff behind closed doors that no one will probably ever know. That's probably, maybe they do worse things than what happened on the island. But like, I remember that my God, the God of the universe, the one that created all of us, he's already stepped down, and he's already paid the price for all of these sins, and he will be stronger, and he will help us overcome all things and all of these difficulties. And the ultimate plan for our salvation through Jesus Christ is greater than all of this evil that exists, than all this anger that exists in this world. And I have to kind of remember that and let that kind of give me some peace, rather than be so focused on the doomsday of it. But I've seen very much how Instagram just can kind of stimulate that type of part of your brain where it's just intensity. It's intensity, and it's changing the quality of your thoughts, and it's changing what your mind is thinking about, what it's focused on, not in a good way, in a way that's going to be pretty destructive if that's all that you're stimulating. And you imagine, like, this was just me scrolling for the first time in weeks. You imagine many, many other people that they scroll every day, and they're consuming this type of stuff every day, or maybe they're consuming the other perspective, the liberal perspective, every day, which that's not good as well. It doesn't matter what perspective you're consuming. It's just algorithms will try and keep you there, right? It'll keep you hooked, and it feels like it's just getting more and more extreme, more and more intense in comparison to a few years ago, out there on social media every single day, and every single time that I find that I'm in there. Like yesterday, like, I can't really put into words. It was crazy. Just every single, like, my friend sent me a video about the whole Argentina World Cup final getting rigged, and then that ended up being like everything that I watched, every single video from Argentinian podcasts and sources in Spanish, but then also from English people talking about it. So it's not just like, oh, the Argentinas are calling corruption, and what Argentina win, everyone else calls corruption. It really is just, it's just crazy. Like, the world, like, it really is, the World Cup has really kind of exposed a lot of this extremism that's online, right? That's like, whenever a team wins, oh, it has to be corruption. Whenever there was one wrong decision, it has to be corruption. It has to be rigged, right? Whereas that's not the case. It could just be bad refereeing. It could just be a bad game plan. To make it completely clear, I don't think that the final in World Cup 2026 was rigged. I don't think so. And I'm Argentinian. I am cheering for Argentina. I genuinely think that, and I mean, you see all the clips, you see all the things that have happened. I think that the reason why there was an argument in the locker room, I think it was just a disagreement between players on tactics, on formation, on things that were happening. And I don't think it had anything to do with it being rigged. I think it was just a disagreement, and I think it was just bad tactics. I think we just kind of got scared of Spain. We kind of put them, we kind of viewed them as higher, like as a bigger player than they really were, and that kind of caused us to crumble. But then you also look at the other perspective, and it's like, right now, I don't think that it was rigged. But I look at, like, some things that I didn't see in the real game that are like, for the goal, for example, like, why was Simeone fixing his socks in his own box instead of actually marking Ferran Torres? Like, I knew that Molina was just bad. Like, I knew that he wasn't having a good tournament. So, of course, he defended terribly against Nico Williams. I think that's just pure stupidity. But was the Simeone thing just stupidity? Or was it literally like he just, like, couldn't be bothered because they knew they had to let it happen? I have no idea. I honestly don't know. And that, like, I looked at that, and when I found that, I was like, what the, like, that was weird. But I think you still just put it down to stupidity, because, like, I mean, it's the biggest match of his career, and he's doing this in his own box. It's like, it is weird. That's for sure. It's weird. But I think it really is just a mentality thing, right? Messi coming out and missing a bunch of shots in the warm up, like, I think it's truly just a mentality thing. I think it really was just like a something happened, some disagreement happened, and it caused everyone else to kind of be not in the right mindset, and that's why it ended up being one of the worst performances I've ever seen on the pitch. That's the narrative that I'm gonna go with. I'm not gonna be that guy that cries corruption, even especially being Argentinian. I'm gonna go with that narrative, and maybe more things will come out, but yes, there's definitely a lot that could maybe be pointing to some sort of a thing. People are saying that it was because of the banner they showed at the end of the England game. So then they got a call saying that they should let Spain win because of some political thing, and like some sort of a narrative. I don't believe that, just to be clear. But that was all I was getting really from again, the doomsday, the world's going to end, and then also the stuff from the World Cup. And when I gave my final analysis 2 days ago, I did not even know any of these things happened. I did not know that any of this was even on the cards. But then I see all these videos, and then, like, the more you see, and it's like, huh, very weird, very weird. But I think for now, at least for now, my opinion is that no, it was not rigged. It was just something happened, some disagreement on tactics or on, like, selection, team sheet happened that caused kind of the dressing room to be in a bad mentality going into the game, and that's what caused them to play bad. I think it has nothing to do with anything, right? I think it has that's my opinion again, but Instagram makes a compelling argument, and the scrolling, the extremism makes a compelling argument. But it's a great example, the World Cup, of just how narratives can shift and change in any moment, just how extreme it's gotten, just how good algorithms have gotten to just push the nonsense, and bot accounts, and just videos being posted about just pure nonsense, right? Argentina deserved to make the final. There was no corruption. It's not rigged, because narratives. You can look at that Egypt game. It was not robber. It was not a robbery. It was really a foul on Martinez for the goal. It was never a pen in both situations, and Argentina came back, and they showed their mentality, and they scored 3 good goals that didn't have any issues to them. So that was the big one, and of course the final, of course, had the contentions as well. But really, it was like it was there. Everyone would be there to talk about narratives, and it's like it really shows just how little people actually know about football, and just how quickly people get swayed by public opinion, and and like, that's why I'm off social media, because I want my own thoughts and my own mind to come up with ideas. I want to give opinions based on my own eyes, what I'm actually seeing. And that's why I'm literally talking about perspective, that you can go on Instagram, and maybe so many other people would disagree with what I'm saying, because it's kind of a different perspective. That I don't think there's any corruption. I think it truly is just internet narratives. For whatever reason, one guy is an influence, and then it spreads the narrative, and then comments and bots to just perpetuate some sort of a narrative to hate Argentina on levels that is unbelievable, right? Like, we are at the point where, again, people I know just hate Argentina for no reason. Like, there's no real, like, scientifically, logically backed reason for why they hate Argentina. It's just you see stuff online, and that causes you to hate. It's like, why do you hate Andrew Tate? It's because you saw clips and you saw, like, the bad things. But every single country in the world has good things and bad things. There's people genuinely, and smart people too, like people I know in my life that are really intelligent, and they understand a lot of things about the world. They are just very quick to hate Argentina, because whether it be because the narrative is just that we're racist, or the narrative is that it's just corruption, whatever they try and do, or the whole Falkland Islands thing, that, like, whatever they try to do, there's no real backing to hating Argentina. Like, there's bad and there's good in our country, in every single country in the world, in Canada, in Portugal, in Argentina. Those are my countries. In the USA, some maybe there's more bad than good, but I think Argentina are pretty much like in the middle in terms of how we are as a country, not as, like, obviously, and as a footballing nation too, of course. So it is just all narratives. And that is why it goes back to the initial point that Instagram kind of feels like porn at times in terms of the intensity, because it's just gotten that much more extreme. It's become that much more polarized. People don't know how to think anymore. People don't know how to actually look with their eyes, see the situation, and make an opinion for themselves. They look at other people's opinion or public opinion, and they let it sway their decisions, and they let it formulate their opinion. But their opinion is not a real opinion. It is just based off of what they've seen. So I've seen both sides to the whole Argentina World Cup final corruption thing. I've seen both sides to it, and I've seen, of course, both sides to the whole world is going to end situation, the Andrew Tate situation. And I formulate my opinions based off of what I see to be true, what I believe, and of course through my own, and obviously I try my best to put it through the Christian lens as well, the God-focused lens. What would God see in this situation? And I use that as a guideline, rather than other people, stupid people on the internet's opinions on things. So I think that is why you need to cleanse your mind from social media, from Instagram, from TikTok, from YouTube. You need to cleanse your mind from it. You need to spend a couple of weeks not consuming that type of content, and you will be healed a little bit. You will feel a little bit more peace in your days. It might be a learning process, especially if you scroll every day, because you will have to adjust because your mind is used to that level of dopamine, and from just a physiological perspective, you will feel a little bit bored at times. That's the truth. But if you can get over that, similarly to how if you're trying to wean off of porn, you'll feel the addiction because it's an addictive behavior. You will feel the wanting to watch it again and to indulge in it again. It's like that's how it's so similar. It's literally like to wean off of it. It is absolutely an addiction all the same, and it's stimulating intense feelings in your mind and in your body physiologically all the same. So to actually get rid of it, you have to spend a lot of time weaning off of it, and you're gonna want to do it again. It's both, and that's why I think it relates to each other. And once you're done, and once you actually have that hiatus and that kind of sabbatical is a good word from social media, then you will find that actually your mind can actually work a little bit better. You can now look at things and formulate your own opinions from an unbiased perspective. But as you're kind of just indulging it, again, it's about the quality of your thoughts, what you're thinking about. You're thinking about the things you're consuming. And if you're only consuming one perspective, that's going to be what you're thinking about. Rather than not consuming those things, instead actually using your thought and thinking about things from an unbiased perspective, that will absolutely allow you to have better opinions. It will allow you to not be so angry at things, not be so lustful at things, and improve the quality of your thoughts. Because I'll end this kind of concept, this episode, this little rant, whatever you want to call it, with this kind of idea. There's World Cup narratives. There's the Andrew Tate narratives. But at the end of the day, you need to move on from all of this. You need to focus on what you need to do with your own life. And consuming this content, consuming this stuff is not going to help you in any way to go and achieve the things that you need to achieve in your life. Give it up to God. Put it in His hands. Understand that in all evils that exist in the world, God will overcome all of it, and His strength is greater than all evil that exists. Whenever you even say the name Jesus Christ, the devil cowers in fear, and he trembles, because His name is greater than any evil, anything Satan can do against you. And whether it be through lust, whether it be through anger, however the devil wants to get into your mind, he'll find a way, right? And he'll find a way to try and break your faith, but never forget that fact, that God is more powerful than all evil that exists in this world. But you need to stop being on social media. You need to stop that scrolling, because it only will get worse. Like, I remember like what Instagram Reels looked at like maybe 5 years ago. And most of it was just pure, just fun, like funny, like entertainment, right? Now, it's not that. It is not that. It is just the most extreme, right? Anti-Semitism, borderline racism. Like, it is as far extreme as you can possibly think. And so that makes so many other people live their lives with that type of an extreme mentality. So remember that your thoughts are downstream from what you consume. So don't consume garbage. Don't consume this stuff that is only getting worse and worse and worse and causing you to feel all of these terrible feelings, whether it be porn, or if it be Instagram, or if it be any other type of social media. It is similar in the nature that it gets into your mind and destroys what you think, and destroys your own opinions and your own beliefs, really. So don't let it even enter into your mind for a second. take a hiatus, don't scroll for a little while, and see how kind of your mind will heal a little bit from these narratives. Truly, I invite you to go and do that. But the similarities from those two types of addictions are real. And you have to see both of them as addictions in order to overcome them. I think, again, so there's similarities, but of course, like, yes, porn is always going to be a little bit more intense, but just for the sake of this video and the sake of this idea, to put it together, to combine the ideas together and be like, hey, it's a different sense that you're stimulating in your mind, but it is just as extreme right now in the context of the internet, that, yeah, you need to stop. You need to wake up and live your life and move on from these situations, right? The World Cup, it's over. It's done. Now it's time to move on with your life. It's that simple. You don't need to be sitting there. You don't need to be sitting there thinking and contemplating. You're just wasting time. You really are. And like, it's just a game. At the end of the day, in the footballing realm, it is just a game. It is just a sport. You're just watching something. It's not actually going to help you in your life in any way. So let's not focus on these things. Let's not focus on like the end of the world, because if the world ends, well, we'll all be dead anyway. So you might as well be here and live this life to its maximum potential every day anyway, without letting these narratives and these opinions sway your mind and your thoughts and make your life worse and make your life more stressed and more angry, rather than just not worrying about it at all. That's my perspective. You can disagree with it, absolutely, but you cannot say that it is a biased perspective. It is truly, this is my thoughts, this is my mind telling you what I'm thinking about these situations. And it's a very, very weird world we live in, absolutely. Like that, I'm not taking away from any of that at all, ever. But you need to remember that you're in control. And the more you consume all of this stuff, it is just going to get worse. It is only going to just hurt you in even worse ways every day. So that's the message from this episode, and that is what I have to say for today. So thank you for watching. I really hope that you do listen to some of the things I'm talking about, that you do learn something, and you do try and actually get yourself off of any of this stuff. It's not going to help you, and it's only going to destroy you, and it's probably only designed to destroy you. Both things, whether it be through the lust or through the anger, through the fear, through the pride, through the hatred, the envy, whatever, the jealousy, whatever it may be. These things are there to be designed to destroy you and to keep you consuming rather than living your life. So understand that concept and truly get off of these platforms and do better and focus on your own life, what you can control around you in your life. And that is really all you can do. That is the power you have against the evil of this world every day. And always give it up to God, and always put faith first before anything else. That is it for today. Thank you for watching this episode of the 365 podcast. Forgive me for being a little bit angry. Forgive me for being a little bit kind of hateful for this whole situation. But I think it really is the truth that many people really do have to wake up and kind of start thinking on their own, rather than being swayed by the opinions and by social media and by all of this stuff. So that is why I put that metaphor in there. And that is why I compare the two extreme things together. So understand that that is absolutely the case. So thank you for watching. That's really all I gotta say. Show your support on the show in any way you can if you did enjoy this episode. But of course, you just being here will hopefully, this episode can give you some better thoughts to take going forward in your life, rather than all of the crap that is on social media. So that's really all I gotta say for today. Continue to glorify God every day throughout your life. And as always, I'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of the 365 podcast.